Yesterday was pretty much NQ getting blown up and the RTY fighting back. Now it's just the opposite. The NQ is raging higher and the RTY is weak. Of course, it's all about Nvidia. We've had 5 days now of nothing, just kind of hanging out. The only lines of note are this line here, which is from last week, the lifetime high, and this line down here, which is that last important price gap. Very tight range, kind of snoozeville. It's true. Here's the IWM, which is a little on the weak side. We have so as we all know, we've been in a range for years, literally here. And then more recently, we've had this range for the year 2024. And we had a shooting star yesterday, like so, which is where I've drawn that line. It's a little red today in sharp contrast to yesterday when it was sort of a safe haven. The diamonds are also down. Diamonds were quite strong yesterday. We've thrown away those gains. We're actually well lower right now than we were even at yesterday's lowest point. But again, just not a whole lot going on. Just it has spent the entirety of 2024 just meandering up and down and up and down and up and just directionless. Really just can't make up its own mind, which is why I kind of like this market, because I can drill down and try to find opportunities underneath the rubble, see what's going on, because definitely there's not a 1.0 correlation across the board. There's some absolutely good opportunities out there if you hunt long enough. For example, I'm still quite fond of being bearish on transport. A couple of favorite stocks within the confines of the Dow Transport are, I'm not stone cold certain if this is true. I believe UPS is one. I do like UPS. I'm just saying as a component of this, if it is, I like it. And the other one, which I know is a component, is one which I got puts on right now, UAL. United Airlines has a pretty interesting chart cooking right here. Here, back in the housing bubble, the prior housing bubble, we had a beautiful top, plunged like crazy, fought its way all the way back and reached its own lifetime high way back 6 years ago. Then, let's zoom in so we can see more clearly, range bound for a long time, literally over a year. Then COVID hit for obvious reasons. United Airlines not going to do well in a COVID environment, so it completely collapsed. And then since then has been building out this symmetric triangle. And then more recently, we've got this beautiful little top right here. And it had been breaking down nicely. It got below this semicircle, this rounded top. And then yesterday fought back like crazy. Big up day yesterday. And I just bought more puts because I feel very good about this pattern and all this overhead supply. This is below the dash line here. This is a very wispy area. I'm not surprised at all it was able to fight back because there's not much to fight through. But this is my new tighter stop. And then today, we have actually undone a chunk of yesterday's gains. And what I've got an eye toward is a drop for this to head down to this dash green level 41.72, thereabouts. So that's definitely a favorite position right now. Emerging markets also down a little more than 0.25%. Not a particularly interesting chart. It tried to break out here. That sort of went sour. Tried another rally. Didn't even match the prior high. Clearly getting a little bit weak around there. One thing I was looking at was, recall last week, and of course Wednesday was a holiday, but Thursday morning, there was a lot of chatter about big new data center Elon's X.AI was building out in Tennessee, Memphis, an old Electrolux factory. And so the names that were being bandied about as big vendors to that were Supermicro, SMCI, Dell, and Nvidia. And so as we look at these now, you can sort of see what a brief, powerful shock that was to the upside for these. So here's Dell, like so, which came close to closing this gap. And clearly, in none of these cases did it really stick. There's this big burst higher and then faded away. SMCI, we zoom in here. This high still maintains from way back in the prior Nvidia burst of March 8. So that was the high back at 1229 for SMCI. It's gone from 1229, it's around 844 now. But here's that peak right there from last Thursday, the Grok pop, which almost matched but did not beat this prior high. That's where that dashed line is. And then lastly, of course, Nvidia enjoyed that rally as well. But the cool part about this, and I was of all the points made yesterday, this is the one I kept returning to. This channel and this midline are very relevant to the price action here. The lifetime high on this was only 3 trading days ago. That was, of course, on Thursday, the aforementioned Thursday. So lifetime high, of course, in pre-market trading, even higher than this. I think got to like 148 or something like that. So big red day on Thursday, another drop on Friday, and another drop yesterday. Look how close we got to the midline. And then boink, a rally today. I do not think it is going to keep ascending this week. I would suspect it's really going to run out of fuel at something like this 130 level, something around there, because all this activity represents a lot of buyers who don't like the fact they're looking at a very weird loss that they did not expect from the likes of Nvidia, and they'll want to exit stage left. So no surprise at all we're getting bounced today. I wouldn't expect too much more out of this, just to really drive the point home. If the midline is cracked, that's a whole new phase of this relationship the price has to the channel. This is also illustrative of semiconductors rally today. ARM, this is beautiful. Look at this. This dashed line is anchored to the prior peak right here on Feb 26. And that line, I didn't check this before, 149.92. And then today's low was almost exactly right. So just a tiny, tiny bit below that. But you can see what a good job that green line did. It provided support after drop, down we go. And then we found support. Same idea. It's still in bullish formation. But if it busts below that line, just as if Nvidia breaks its own midline, that's worth noting. Our dollar stores continue to be weak. It's been a long time. I'll call it a sector. There's not much to it. But Dollar Tree slipping again, about 1 2/3% today. And then DG, Dollar General, also down over 1%. In this case, a bit more than 1 1/4. I've made mention also, and this is probably my favorite long-term observation, these home builders. Here's ITB, down hard today, about 2.7%. You can see zoomed in, this nice little top. We've broke below it today. Nothing cataclysmic. In fact, it'll probably close still within the confines of that around the top. But this is a complete pattern. And so I think that portends good fortune for bears on this in the weeks ahead. But yeah, ITB, nice breakdown there. And XHB, similarly, 2 3/4% drop on this, although the pattern is not quite complete. It should slip below this that dashed green line there to do the job. GameStop, 2 weeks ago, everybody was talking about this. Now nobody even mentions it. But it's just, since Roaring Kitty has left the stage, everyone's just like, it's all died down. You can see the volume has just withered away. He managed to create a lot of excitement, a lot of volume, a lot of buying to good effect. And then where did he go? Suspect to be back at some point in the future to revive things. But yeah, the whole meme stock theme, as I suspected it might, it's got a half-life, shorter and shorter each time in terms of how long people participate. XLU is mercifully flipping lower away from that rally it had yesterday. The small caps and XLU seem very tightly correlated. And let's just throw down one more horizontal to mark our next goal, which we just slipped below that low from last week. I think it's from last week. But this little round the top doing a nice job. We did have a rally. We have not pierced that resistance level, so that's cool. And the specific one that I've mentioned time and again this year, Next Era, NEE, same idea, had a rally, another rally yesterday, and then we've turned away from that. So in the same fashion, let's just put a little marker right there as a place to watch for the next failure point. I've got to come up with a shorthand way of expressing this, but these are our lifetime low bunch. I've made sort of a stink about this to emphasize the danger that these lifetime lows are in, and it's an opportunity as well. Some of you may already be short some of these items that I mentioned, but just as a quick follow-up, here's Eventbrite, down 2 3/4%, another lifetime low. Unity Software, down 3.71%. And QuantumScape down 2.12%. Same idea across the board. There's just vapor beneath those. Each of those its own opportunity. And there was another one I stumbled across, 5.9. The only difference being this is not a lifetime low. There's obviously a lot of activity below this, but it's kind of the same idea because these prices haven't been seen in years, and there's no particular thick level of support down here. So this is behaving in kind of the same fashion, and this is down also 2.12%. We'll just kind of wrap off with old DraftKings here. This has been another good one. Really nice performer here. Day after day recently, a nice big old thick red bar, which is hard to find in this market. But that's kind of goes back to my earlier point about drilling down for those opportunities. But this has worked out great, and I'm still hanging on for this one.